Happy New Year, everybody. This is A Good Enough Girl. I'm Becky, coming from you outside of Seattle, Washington. And this is my last day before I go back to work. We got a nice winter break for about 2.5 weeks. And so I go back tomorrow. And so I figured this would probably be the best time for me to do everything I knit in 2025. We'll also touch on a little bit of what I'm working on now and maybe some spins that I did this year and talk a bit about my plans for the upcoming year. This is my first what I knit in the year video, and basically I'm proud of myself because this year I completed 3 garments. 3 for the girl that can barely knit a sweater. I finished 3 garments. I put a few in timeout and they're still there, but hopefully they'll come out for the new year. And I got a lot of accessories done this year. I kind of felt like neckwear was a theme of mine for at least the fall. So I'm going to go through what I knit, what I made. I'll try to remember to tell you what size I made, what the pattern's named, yarns and things like that. But if I forget something, just ask me in the questions down below and I will get back to you and let you know as soon as I look it up and remember. I do keep decent notes in my Ravelry, so you can go to my Ravelry and find out more about what I made, what needle sizes I use, things like that. So let's get started. So I figured there's the dilemma of, do you do it in chronological order or do you do it in the type category order? So I decided to go type category order, starting with the smallest items and going into the biggest items for the year. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my freckled mitts test pattern. And this was a test pattern that I did for Such Bull Knits. And she is the organizer and leader of our local knitting group. And so she was gracious enough to let me knit test these for her. And it was actually really a fun process. And I did get to provide a lot of feedback and input and comments. And so I found that to be really kind of a rewarding experience. And so I definitely look forward to doing it again. I'm not probably the fastest when it comes to projects and things like that. So I'm not ready to test knit sweaters unless they give me a few months, but accessories, I can definitely do that. So the thing that I knit for her and I completed in 2025, I finished these, I think December 29th of the year. So I had them finished just in time for the New Year celebration, and I actually wore them to the Kraken game, the hockey game that we had on Thursday. And so super cool. They have a nice long cuff and you can fold it up. I kind of like just keeping it long because it keeps my wrists a little bit warm, and that way you can kind of tuck it into jackets and sweaters. It does have this really nice flap that we did, and so you can use it as a fingerless mitt. I forgot to fix my fingernail. Well, there you go. So really nice fingerless mitts, and the convertible top actually is seamed on both sides, so it stays flapped back pretty nicely, and it's not like up in your hand all the time. So not too flippity floppity. These were knit with Ocean Fibers, OSHEN, in their Deep Current DK. And I used a couple of recently did a, basically a zodiac sign collection. And I don't remember for the life of me which signs these were from, but it was the orange color is Desert Flower, and the teal, I think, is Tangled Pearl. I think so, something like that. Actually, I can look those up in just a second. So that is the freckled mitts. They're actually they're available for purchase now. I will link them down below. And again, they were a fun knit. I really liked the way the freckled pattern came out, and I can see myself working on these for a lot of people. They are great gift knits. I was able to do 1 knit in just a few days. And so once I figured it out, we worked through all the hiccups in the test pattern. They knit up really, really quick. So those would be a great gift pattern. Let's see. I have my iPad down here that I got for Christmas. And so that way I can look things up if I need to. Let's see, in progress. All right, okay, so the colorway is Ocean Fibers, Deep Current DK, and the blue-green color was entangled. So I was totally wrong on that. I had the tangled part right. And then the other one is, the orange was called Flower Moon. And so I didn't actually use an entire skein for either one of these colors. I used about 3/4 of a skein of the green as the main color and not even 20% of the other skein. So still have plenty of the orange to work with. So if I find something else that I want to make, that's definitely something that I can go back to. So again, freckled mitts, very happy with the way they came out, very much enjoyed the process. And if you are looking for something that's quick to knit and you want maybe to give it as a gift over the next couple of months, since wherever you are, it could still be cold, because where I am, it's cold and rainy. It's just damp right now. And so a nice pair of wool mittens is actually pretty welcome. All right, so moving out of our category of mitts, I'm moving into socks. So I had a big dream of knitting socks every month, because I joined the Farmer's Daughter Fibers sock squad. And so I figured I can knit socks every month. They don't actually take me that long, which normally they probably wouldn't. But they're a little fiddly. They're small needles. And so I tried different techniques. This year I did magic loop. I did 9-inch circulars, which I find are a little bit too small. And so I'm gonna try 10-inch circulars where I have 3 inches and 3 inches on each side. And so that way I have a little bit of leverage, and hopefully that'll make me go a little bit faster. But I did enjoy using the Sock Squad yarns. And I also knit a couple of other random yarns that I had gotten throughout the year as well. So the first pair that I finished for the year was Andrea Mowry's Oxblood socks. Oh, the Oxbow sock. And so I did this, I believe, in Knit Pick Stroll. And I loved the pattern. I'm working on the big cozy cardi that has the same stitch pattern in there. So you can see that. Really cool stitch pattern. I love a heel flap and gusset. And so that was really a nice way to make these. Yeah, those are super cool. Love the colorway. And it's pretty squishy, but I don't love the looseness of them. So I don't know if I need to make a smaller size to get them to kind of hug my foot better, but they actually don't feel like they have a ton of stretch in them. And I don't know if that's the yarn or it's the pattern, because I know whatever this stockinette pattern is, or the rib pattern, is really stretchy. But I feel like on the bottom, and like where the stockinette is, it's not super stretchy. But I still wear them. They're a little bit big for my feet. So I'm definitely gonna knit that pattern again. Again, that's the Oxbow socks, the knit along that I did. I started them in 2024 for the Thanksgiving weekend in the US. Andrea Mowry does a sock knit along every year, and I decided to join in, and I learned one thing. I don't want to knit socks in a weekend, because I was almost done with one after the first 4 days, and my hands really, really hurt. My hands hurt. So I'm just learning to enjoy and pace myself. So I will continue to do that. Oh, these were actually made in Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering. And so that's what those were called. And the colorway was Happy Valley. I did enjoy those. I liked the making. And let's see. Yeah, my note I said to myself is I'll probably go down a size for a more snug fit. All right, so next pair of socks. Yeah, I'll do them in order that I finished up. So the next pair of socks, I think they're in the wash right now, so I can't show them, but they were made with my first month of Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad for the month of January 2025. And I'll put a picture of them right here. I basically kind of made my own vanilla sock pattern. So I used the toe up cast on from the DRK Everyday Socks, I think, or actually I used the Oxbow. So I went back to the Oxbow pattern for the framework of it, but instead of doing that stitch pattern, I just did a 1x1 rib on the cuff, and then a 2x1 rib on the leg, and then a 3x1 rib on the foot. Just a kind of a graduated rib, because I'd seen a pattern like that and thought I'd give it a try. So I'll put a picture of those right there. And I'm looking at my stats on that. So I did a size medium adult in the Oxbow sock pattern, and I did Farmer's Daughter Fibers Elkhorn sock in Finding My Path. So it was Finding My Path was a brown color, and then the kind of the dark teal was the mini that came with it. So that was my first experience. I love the feeling of the Farmer's Daughter Fibers of that. So that was the Elkhorn sock. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And now I also have my next pair of socks that I finished, which I was super proud of. So these are the season socks. These are the season socks by Summerlee Knits. So Summerlee Knit Co. And I did the optional colorwork pattern at the top. So these are kind of a combo. I used the June 2025 colorway, which was, let me look it up here. So again, these are the season socks by Summerlee. I used Farmer's Daughter Fibers Bighorn sock, and oh my gosh, I love this one. It's super squishy, it's bouncy, and it's big. These ones I had to cast on a few times because the color work, I was worried about the color work being too tight on my leg because I definitely I have a hard time getting things over my foot and my instep. And so first of all, I did them in like a size 3. That was way too big. And then I took it out, and after I had done it on a 2, but I did it too tightly, then I went to the 3, and then I went back to the 2, and I did it as loosely as I possibly could. So I actually was focused on this as I did it. And so this is all done in a 2. And then I believe, and then I went down to a size 1 for the rest of the body of the sock. So just the color work I did in a size 2. And so this is the Bighorn sock from June, these colorways. So the orange as well as the body of the sock. And then the teal that I used was from Spring Bear. That was in, I think, the May colorway, May 2025 colorway for our big Farmer's Daughter Fibers. So the one thing I love about that Sock Squad membership is that the colors really do go nicely together. So I was able to put a couple of months together. I have some visions for other ones. I used a bunch of it in the Scrappy VT that I'll show you in a little bit when I talk about the things that I'm bringing with me into the new year. So those are my season socks. I love wearing those. They're just soft, squishy. I don't wear them in shoes because they are a little bit thick. And then I finished right before the end of the year. I finished my super glow socks. You can see they're kind of, quote, they're finished, but I definitely need to, I think it's just a little bit of weaving in, or yeah, this one's weaving in. The other one's already woven in and all done. You can see that. And it's kind of interesting. I noticed that one is, I mean, obviously I knit one's a little bit longer than the other, but whatever, that's fine. But one seems to be a little bolder in color, and seems a little odd to me because it's the exact same ball of yarn. So I don't know if you can see the difference in color here, but one is definitely brighter and bolder than the other. So, but I love the Super Glow sock. I love the yarn. I love everything about these. And it was a super easy I'm So Basic sock pattern by Summerlee. And she does a nice sock pattern with a flap and gusset, a heel flap and gusset, which, as you know, I love. And so I finished those up. I just need to basically like weave everything in and cut off this sock. This sock is done. And I have a brand new pair of socks for the new year. All right, so that is all my socks. I made 4 pairs this year. I was very excited about that. I will probably I want to make more this year, but I don't think it's wise for me to say I'm going to make every month a pair, because I actually want to make bigger things more. And so I'd say we did 4 this year. Let's do 5 next year. So my goal is 5 pairs of socks this year. And I still have lots of time to do it, so no problem. And the next category is going to be basically my neckwear. So cowls, wraps. I have like a Mobius cowl. I have a Plumpy cowl. I never used to wear scarves or wraps or things like that. And now that I've kind of become a little more immersed in the knitting community, I see all these beautiful things and I want to wear them, but also they're really practical for me. So I did find that I liked wearing them. I liked throwing them on, especially in the mornings when it's really cold and I have to go to school before the sun's up. And so it just it's like a cozy way to start the day. And then as soon as I get into school, I rip it off because we all know I get really hot. And so I can't wear them all day, but I do love, love, love them. All right. So I made 4 neck pieces this year. So 4 different cowls. 2 of them are gifts, and one of the gifts I have here with me. And so I can show you that one. This is the keyhole cowl, and this is made by Stephanie Steinhaus made the pattern. So the keyhole cowl, and basically it's got a little keyhole, a little hole right there where you can put in the end of the cowl. So you basically take it around, put that in there, and then I like to do it this way just because it hangs down a little bit, so the gravity is not really pulling that out as easily. But it's just a really nice, simple, easy to wear, easy to make. I mean, I can make one of these now in a week or two. They go really, really fast. They're made with, this one was made with Lang cashmere. So Lang yarns, was it Lang cashmere? Yeah, Lang cashmere. And the Lang paillettes were also in here that I got from the Crafty Jackalope. And so just gorgeous they were rose gold colored. And I've done a deeper dive in another video that I don't think I've posted yet, but you'll see it basically, there's not as many paillettes as I would have expected in one of the balls. And so buy yourself more than you need, or more than you think you need. So yeah, just beautiful. I loved it. So I love cashmere. I love a way to use cashmere that's more affordable. Basically, I think it cost me about $38 to make this, because I used 2 different skeins of the Cashmere Dreams. One was a kind of a pink. I don't think they have names. I'm looking down to see if they had names. I don't think they had names. They probably had numbers on them. But it was basically kind of an ivory and a soft pink were the colors that I used to make this one. And this one I gave to my mother-in-law, Nancy, and she's already worn it and loves it. So during the year when I was making it, she had said, "Oh, that's gorgeous. I'd really love one." She didn't know I was making it for her. So this was her Christmas gift, and luckily she lives with us, so I was able to go grab it from her. And so yeah, you can see that the sparkles go all the way through. They start to get a little more ombre and less impactful at the top, just because I was running out. And so it was every 3rd row I used it instead of every row, but still beautiful, a fun knit. I also made that same pattern because that's like a go-to now. It's super easy. I made this one in lace weight cashmere. And then I also made one in lace, I think it was lace weight Surrey alpaca. And so that was actually from Ocean Fibers as well. I'll put a picture of it up here. I gave it to my mom for Christmas, and it's just a luxurious Surrey alpaca in that orange desert moon. I'm saying that wrong again, but the orange colorway. So this orange colorway is the same colorway that I used to make my mom's cowl, and it's a keyhole cowl. I made hers a little bit longer because I was tinkering with the pattern, and I got the pattern inspiration from the Yarn Parlor in Scottsdale, Arizona. So they were super helpful, and I was like, I love this cashmere yarn, but what am I going to do with it? And so they gave me a great pattern for it. All right, so those are my 2 gifted knits that I did this year, and then let's go back. Yeah, so that was actually the first one I made. And then I decided last year in 2024, I bought the pattern for the Frame Your Face cowl. And this was Andrea Mowry's Rhinebeck pattern, like the design for the Rhinebeck sweater. And so this is the Frame Your Face cowl. And I think the sweater was the framed sweater. So I love this so much. I made this, I started this in September and I finished it in late October, I believe. So it was like a 6-week knit. I knit it in different countries, different states. So I went to Canada with me, I went to Arizona with me. It's kind of been all over on my travels with me in the fall. And I finally was able to finish it. And I love it. It's got this nice Mobius twist. It's seamed in the back. So I won't go into too much detail about it, but on my Ravelry, I call it my Dark Matter cowl because the purple color is called Dark Matter from Spin Cycle, I believe in the Dream State weight. And then this yellowy chartreuse right here, that's called Daddy State of Mind, and it's Spinster's Daughter worsted. And so it was really nice to work with. It wasn't, as I was working on it, it didn't feel as soft as I would have thought I wanted. But as I wear it, I love it. It's not scratchy at all. I don't really notice that I'm wearing it. So I would call this a huge success for me. I've worn it quite a few times already in the fall. and I love it. So you can see those quilt patterns in there, the quilt squares. So that was Frame Your Face Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And the next one is also from Andrea Mowry in Spin Cycle Yarns as well. So Spin Cycle Yarns has this beautiful yarn called Plump, and it is what it says. It's very plumpy. It's a bulky weight yarn. And so you can knit things up fairly quickly in this base. And so I decided to participate in their Plump Along that they have in the fall. It was only 6 weeks, but I was determined to make, I probably could have made a couple of these, but this is the Plumped Up Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And so you can see it's a seamed together in the back, and it's basically knit kind of like a, I want to say a rectangle, but not really a rectangle. It's knit flat and then seamed up in the back. And I left myself a little bit of gap in the back just so I didn't feel like it was really choking me or too much around. And I think this is actually a really, really nice fit. So I can leave it up like this when it's really, really cold. I can also curve it down. And this colorway of Plump is called Playful Pop, and that's the Grocery Girls exclusive colorway. I got that last year when I was at the Canmore retreat, and I actually bought it beforehand, and they delivered it to me there. So it's brioche knitting. It was my first experience, and I actually really love the output of brioche knitting, so I probably will make a lot more of those types of things. And on the other side, it's reversible, which is cool. I basically did kind of a lighter palette, and I think that was called Tough Love. And that was a Spin Cycle colorway that came out over the summer. And so they really nicely, you can flip flop and wear them whichever way you want to. Brioche is really just, it's kind of a knit two rows in one. And it was pretty easy. I actually learned how to do brioche. I learned how to fix brioche. So that was one of my learnings for 2025. And I like brioche. So I don't know if I want to do it in fingering weight. We'll see. That's a future me situation. So those are all my neckwear. And finally, I have my garments. And so I was super proud of myself for garments because I am a product knitter for sure. I like knitting. I love being able to do it, but I want to do it all the time so I can finish all the things. I don't want to do it just so I can be knitting, but I don't want to have other people make my knits for me. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me. So I did a few things last year. If you've been here since the beginning, which was only last year, I actually finished my first full sweater. And who was it for? Not me, my husband. So this is the Hot Toddy hoodie by Knititude. And what I like about Knititude's patterns is Chantel does a really nice job of making things simple but impactful. So it's like you get a very classic style. You get something that you can wear all the time. You can wear for a long, long time. Won't go out of style. And it has nice little details. And so like the back of the sweater, I like that there was kind of this running line seam, faux seam up the back. So that's up the back. It's also down the sleeves. And I had to pick up and knit the hood. So basically I started this in 2023 and put it away for at least a year because I had cast it all on, got it to basically ready to split for sleeves, and then something wasn't quite right. I had to pull back and go back. I think I pulled back and probably did it like 4 times. And so as a result, I decided that I'm not making this. And so I put it away. But I came back to it last year and I actually finished it about 2 years from when I started it. And I did a fancy red I-cord because my husband's favorite color is red. I had to make a hood for the first time. And so it's a seamed hood up the top and down the back side. In the back, you can see that faux seam goes all the way down the back as well. And then there's a folded tunnel, basically. I'm sure there's a fancier name for that, where the I-cord goes through all the way. And I did use the size inclusive, the Cordsmith to make my I-cords. And I swear by that thing. If you need to make I-cords, get the Cordsmith. It's amazing, and it goes towards really good people who support size inclusivity on their designs. So that's something that's really important to me. All right, so that was the first one. That was the one I finished for my husband in, I think when I went to Canmore with the Grocery Girls retreat, I got really inspired to jump back in head first. Like I was knitting some stuff and enjoying it a lot, but I got inspired to actually like make the things. And so I finished that thing. And then I made another thing. So Andrea Mowry, you'll see a theme, is highly inspirational and influential in my knitting journey. So she has the March to May knit along, which is great because you can do whips, you can do, you can start and cast off, but you need to do, there's a sweater category and there's a shawl category. And so I had gotten the yarn for the broom sweater at Christmas time. So my daughter actually bought me this colorway, and my parents bought me an orange colorway that I'm going to work on, either another broom or a nebula. Oh, I love this sweater so much. So this is the broom sweater. I knit it during the March to May knit along. I think I started on my birthday. So that was March 7th. And I finished right before the end of May. So I think I did it in like 86 days or something like that. It would have been way faster had I not ripped it out. So I had it basically all the way down. I had it done, basically. This was done, the waist was finished, and it looked like I was wearing a giant sweatshirt, like for a giant who had not yet finished making said sweatshirt. And so it was too wide and the balance was just off. So I started it all over again. I ripped it all the way back up to about here, and then refinished the raglans again, and then split for sleeves and kept going. So I'm really, really proud of myself on this one. I think it's a little bit bigger, and like next time I'm gonna make the arms a little bit more narrow, because I mean, they feel like they're a little wide for my taste, but it's beautiful. The yarn is Farmer's Daughter Fibers Oh Dang DK in the colorway It's Copacetic. And so I did this, like I said, in about 84 days. I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity. I'll finish my big cozy cardi that I had started a long time ago. And I'll put a picture up here, right, of the big cozy cardi. And I started doing it, and it took me 3 hours to do about this much. And I was like, I don't have that kind of time in 2.5, 3 months. So I set that aside and decided to do a full-on new cast on, and it was my broom. And I've actually worn this quite a bit, and it doesn't even keep me as hot as I had expected it to. So I'm able to wear it a little more often than I thought I would. But again, broom sweater by Andrea Mowry. I knit a size, what did I end up in? Because I went down a couple of sizes. I think I cast on originally for a size 7. And then I basically took it down to a size 5, I believe. And I have a 49-inch bust. And so that was when it was too big for me that way, I'm like, that's obnoxious. If it's that big on me, I need to go down like 2 sizes. So I did. So I think I finished it at a 7 or a size 5. I started with a 7, but I was able to keep all the neck and the shoulders in the way that they were for the 7. And then I just reduced the body width as I was going. So that's my broom. And I really have been loving wearing this, and I love seeing it out in the wild because I go out there and I see other people in it. When I was at Sacred Sheep, I saw Nicole, who I also had met at our knitting retreat in Calgary, and she was wearing hers as well. So it was fun to kind of see each other and take a pic in our matching sweaters. And I also got to meet Candace from Farmer's Daughter Fibers when she was there. And I'm like, hey, I knit this in your yarn. It's a beautiful sweater. So thank you so much for making it. So that was awesome. And the final thing that I made in 2025, I'm not as prolific as some people. Like there's some people that are showing off like 30 things. I want to, but I can't. Like I don't have either the physical capacity, the mental capacity, or the time to do that because I'm not at home as much. And when I'm teaching full time, I can't get any knitting in unless there's a staff meeting. So my time is very limited. But the final thing that I made for myself was my little lace crop, again by Knititude. So here it is. And the colorway is Sangria. And I need to look up the yarn. It's like the Luma Yarn Company or something like that. So let me pull that one up. My little lace crop by Knititude. And I made the size extra large in the Fiber Co. Luma. So that is a combination. It's a blend that has like rayon, not rayon, a bamboo in it. So it's definitely got some bamboo, some cotton, and I think some wool as well. So it has a really nice fuzzy texture to it, and it's not too hot to wear in this kind of a pattern. And so let's see. So you can see like the lace pattern that's in there. Really fun, really satisfying. I was able to knit that lace pattern really quickly. So got that done pretty quick. This whole thing took me less than a month, which for me is a miracle. And so I was able to wear it to flock, which was one of my goals. And so I got this ready, wore it to flock. I love the color. I love the general shaping and the fit. I do have to make some tweaks on it because it is supposed to have an I-cord kind of tie across the back. And I was like, I don't need to make that. But I do, because I felt like I was trying to hold it up all the time when I was at Fiber or at Flock. And so I figured I probably need to put that I-cord on the back so I can tie the back so that it doesn't like fall off my shoulders all the time and I'm not fighting with it. And I also discovered that I think these underarms are too loose and baggy. And so I'm gonna, because I was, you know, I was messaging with Chantel about, I had questions about the lace pattern. I had questions about like how to do things a little bit shorter and things like that. And she was really great at responding and giving me advice and info and insights. And I asked about what kind of bind off should I be doing. And she just said a standard bind off, which worked really, really well in the places that I actually used it. So the neckline, perfect. The back neckline, perfect. The underarms, you don't want to bind off tightly, right? So I bound off loosely. And I did the amazingly stretchy bind off, I think Jenny's stretchy bind off, where basically you do a yarn over between your two stitches and then you carry the stitch and the yarn over your working yarn. And it does give a nice loose bind off, but it was too much, too loose for this. So I'm gonna probably do a crochet edge under both arms to kind of tighten it up just a little bit so it kind of fits more snugly. And so I think that'll be that Fix It February. That's my plan for Fix It February, is to work on my little lace crop. But I did wear it. I've worn it a couple times. I do have to say though, the yarn is not great for wear. Can you see that? I've only worn this maybe twice. And that's probably from my tote bag or my purse. But you can just see all of this pilling. It's rampant on this thing. All over the place, pilling. So I'm not sure about the longevity of the yarn or what types of things I should be wearing. It's probably not something that's going to get rubbed regularly with like a shoulder bag or a seat belt. So don't wear it while you're driving, or just don't wear seatbelts when you're driving. Wear your seatbelt when you're driving. Don't ever not wear it. It has saved my life and many others, so I'm a big fan of the seatbelt. But I really like it. I love the color. I like the shape, and I love the lace pattern. I think Chantel knocked it out of the park with this one. So there we go. So that's my last finish knit for 2025. I love that you took that journey with me. Thank you so much for indulging me. And I did work on some stuff starting at the end of the year that I'm hoping to carry in and finish up in the next year. I'm just fixing up my piles because I do have piles of socks and mitts and knits and all kinds of stuff that I don't want to fall over. So if you were here early on, and even in this video, I talked about the big cozy cardi, And so I love the idea of a big cocoon cardigan. And so I decided that was going to be the sweater for me. And I wasn't deep enough into the world of knitting and actually making garments yet to know how long and tedious this thing was going to be. So I love knitting it. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. It's the same thing as the Oxbow sock, and I think the Oxbow sweater and the Gib cardigan or the Gib pullover. So a beautiful, beautiful pattern. It's got a nice bounce and squish to it when it's all knit up. And so I do have a decent amount of it. Like I have this much done, but I have to make 30 inches of it. And I think that's maybe 12. So I spent a lot of hours getting it to here. So I will definitely, this is going to be my on and off project. And maybe I'll work on it for the March to May knit along again. And maybe I'll do the same thing where I'm like, I don't have time for this. And I'll set it down and I'll find something else fun. So maybe I'll cast my nebula on for that one. But yeah, I love this big cozy cardi. It is going to be my someday it will be done project because I do want it. I do love it. I'm worried it's a little bit too wide. So I'm hoping if I get it, basically it's a big rectangle that I'm knitting. So super easy knit. And then you seam the edges together. So you have kind of some sleeves on the edge. And I'm hoping when I get to that point that it will not be too wide. But if it is, this may be my first steeking project. I may steek it to get some of the end off, which seems like a real super bummer because this yarn is beautiful and it's not cheap. But I also want it to fit, so I'll wear it. So if it's too big, I may just do that because I have to pick up like hundreds of stitches around the collar in order to add on the Odang Surrey alpaca collar that kind of is like the shawl collar that wraps around and makes it so luxurious and squishy. So the yarn I'm using for this is Skydance Fibers. Ursa Minor is the type of yarn. So you just really, really nice. And it's in Steamy Kitchen Window, and I got it from Brooklyn General Store? Yeah, Brooklyn General Store in New York. I think that's where Andrea Mowry got hers. And so as you can tell, I love Andrea Mowry's work. I like the cleanness of her designs and kind of the fact they seem like things that you can wear for a long, long time and they won't go out of style. And so I'm excited to have this done someday, but this one I'm not going to be in a rush for just because I know what it takes to do it. And I have other things that I want to lean into for a little bit. So that's my big cozy cardi that will be coming into the new year with me and hoping that I can get that done at some point in 2026. And then I also have, many of you voted and helped me choose my project in the spring. And I said, oh, what should I do? Here's my ideas. I had the Easy V sweater, which, spoiler alert, I had to get more yarn because I didn't even know that I needed 2 of each of the contrasting colors. So I got 2 more. I still am waiting to find one. I need Sex on the Beach in the Spin Cycle Dream State. So I have to find that first. And then I can finish. All right. But many of you helped me vote. It was Easy V sweater, the Elton pullover, and the Outline Tee by Jessie Mae Designs. So I love the Outline Tee. I've cast it on 5 times because I love it so much. I've finished it no times. And I put it into timeout because it made me very mad. So here is the remnants of the first one. Like you can even see I still have some stitch markers on there. And I did really nice work. I have that twisted rib on the bottom boundary. I had gone up at least 6 inches. I've pulled this out and recast on multiple times. And when I cast on the last version, it was twisted again. And I said, I can't even take this anymore. And so I put it in timeout. So I have cast on the number of stitches that I need, and I have them all counted out and everything. I haven't been in this bag in a while, so it's a little twisty. And I have it all cast on. But I haven't joined it in the round yet because I'm too scared. And it hurts my heart. So I think I'm either going to ask a friend to do it for me just because I can't be trusted, or I'll give it one more shot. It's so long for the bottom up. It's a lot to cast on and then put to knit in the round. And I don't know that I can take doing it wrong again. So Jessie May Designs outline tee. My goal is to get it done for spring. I do need to find some motivation to get back to it and hopefully get over my hurt feelings that this thing has put me through. And so the yarn that I'm using for that is the Knitting for Olive, and it is cotton merino. So this is the cotton merino. Gorgeous, so soft. I love working with it. Hopefully it'll be lightweight and good to wear for the spring and the summer here. It's 70% organic cotton and 30% extra fine merino. So it's more cotton than merino. So I'm looking forward to that. So I have a whole bucket of fun just waiting for me here. So that's going to be coming into the new year with me. And then finally, the project I literally started on New Year's Eve. So this is my New Year's Eve cast on, and I'm very excited about it because today is January 4th. I cast this on in the last 4 hours of 2025. So this is my yun sweater, sorry, bouncing the table. And I've already got, it's supposed to have a folded collar, but I really like kind of a funnel neck collar. And so I'm going to leave it like that and see how it wears. And if it drives me crazy, then I'll turn it into a folded collar. But I already have a bunch of the raglans started. I've got some length on it. I did the short rows in the back. I'm chuffed, as they would say in the UK. I'm chuffed with it. I'm really excited about it. So it's the Yun sweater, and it is by, let's see, who's it by? Yun. Oh, First Whip. By Anne Fiskumsund. And it's in New Wave Fiber, the hazel base, which is just, I mean, it's an amazing base. So this is the label. I bought it from the spinner and the shepherdess. And this is called Hazel Yarn, and the color is Cabernet. It is 50% alpaca, 45% Rommeldale, which is Romney and Corriedale blend in the yarn. And then it's also got a little bit of Angora in it, so 5% Angora. And it was so cool because I got to meet the sheep this came from. So one of her male sheeps, I can't remember what they're called. I'm meaning to look it up. But we met the sheep that it came from, and she and her partner. So she's a shepherdess, and then her friend is a shepherdess as well. And one is basically gathers the wool, one spins, and one dyes the wool. And so it's a really nice project together that they get to do. And I'm turning it into something amazing. So I'm very excited about having this sweater. My aggressive goal is I'm going to Canmore, again, the retreat, early February. So my aggressive goal is, can I, in 1 month, 31 days, finish the whole sweater? Can I? Maybe. I mean, I spent the whole day yesterday at an anthropomorphic convention, I think. So my kid's into creating and making personas. And so I spent the whole day basically watching their stuff all day. And so I was knitting and knitting and knitting. I talked to a lot of really cool people. I was really impressed with the community they have. It very much reminded me of the knitting community because everybody was really nice. People were supportive, and you only heard good things. People were asking questions about how you made it, what you made. And so I thought that was really kind of a nice tie-in. But while I was there for 10 hours, I got a lot of knitting done. So a lot of that was done yesterday while I was sitting. And I will be continuing this. It's at a pretty easy state right now because I'm just doing some increases at the raglans, and then the rest is stockinette. So I don't have to pay much attention to it right now. But I will put some time into that. Oh, and then I forgot, I also did some spinning last year. So those are projects I'm taking with me. These will be in process. At some point I will make them. I'm doing the size, the Yun sweater, I'm making the size, I believe the size 6, but I haven't finalized my size because this pattern is really cool because basically the neck down to all of the increases are kind of in zones. And so you can pick a size within the zone, and you're going to be knitting the same thing until you get to basically like increasing for the body size. And you don't have to know that until you're almost, I mean, like right down here on your sweater. So, which was really great. So that way I don't have to think about what size I want to do, because I really wasn't sure based on my gauge swatching. And I did a lot of gauge swatching, and I was done with it. I wasn't getting to it. I kept increasing my needle size, but I didn't want my yarn to get too open. And I also didn't want to mess with the patterning if it got too open. And it's all in centimeters and metric system. So I was doing a lot of conversions, and my brain, probably because I'm not working right now, so my brain's on vacation. It was really struggling with all of the conversions and trying to make sure I had the right amount of ease in the sweater, but not too much ease. And so I'll figure out a size in a little while. Right now I'm going at the size 6. So we'll see how that goes. And for spinning last year, I did finish a few spinning projects, and I haven't done anything with them yet to actually make. So this year is going to be my year of actually spinning to knit something. So Andrea Mowry again is doing her jaunty spin and make along. And so I'm going to spin up just a beautiful kind of a gray and white fiber that I have. I think it's called Hanui. And I'm going to spin that up and then turn that into my jaunty. And thankfully I have 6 months to do it, because I haven't started yet, but I have a dream and I can be fast if I need to. So this is proof that I can be fast if I need to. So this one, I think I spun this whole thing up over a weekend. Like, I was just a monster spinner. I sat for like 6 hours over the weekend at my wheel. And it didn't come out like I wanted to, because the fiber ball, if I have a picture, I'll put it up there. The fiber ball was it had bold sections of turquoise and bold sections of orange and some grays in between. And when I was spinning it, I was trying to do it so that I could get long. I really wanted some bold colors in there. And so I have a kind of a different colored light down there. So that's probably giving it a really weird color. Let's see if that helps. Probably not. I'm probably just making things worse. But it has some teals and some oranges that I really wanted to pull out some striping of that. And so I made a really nice skeiny yarn though. And so I'm going to find something to do with this one. It was just a merino. They had no description on it. The name was Coral Reef. Don't know who I got it from. It was on sale the last day of Fiber Fusion, and I was like, ooh, I could use some more fiber. So I bought it. And so I did that. I finished off a purple. I think it was my pretty purple spin. And so that pretty purple, I'll put a picture of it up here. I started that 2 years ago and finished it this year. And so I did some chain plying, I did some regular plying. And so I have different kinds of yarn from that. And I also did just a basic natural merino from Knit Picks wool, because I was learning how to do chain plying and long draw. And so I was using that fiber, and I decided to finish it, and it's very multi-textured, but it's very soft and it's beautiful. And so I'm sure I'll find something fun to make with that. And again, I'll put a picture of it up there. So I think that was all of the spinning that I did. I'm going to look at my hand spun right now and see what I got. Yeah, so I have my pretty purple, I call it cream merino because it was merino wool and it was creamy, so cream merino. And then my Coral Reef that I just showed you. And so those are the 3 that I finished this year. So I'm excited to really increase my spinning this year and hopefully make it so that it's functional so I can do stuff with it. Because I mean, that is a hobby all by itself. I love spinning it. I could just spin, and that's all I need to do. But sometimes you want to actually make, because like I said, I'm a project knitter. And so I want to make something with this beautiful yarn that I'm making. So I'm looking forward to a fun 2026. I'm going to try and take my purchasing down, which we always say, and we'll see what I do. I really want to make a dent in all of the projects that I buy, because a lot of the stash I have was actually allocated to certain projects. And so I do want to get involved in making some of those things and checking them off. I love to finish a to-do list. So I'm hoping 2026 is a nice to-do list finisher. So I'd love to know, what did you finish last year that you were the most proud of? What are you so excited about making in the new year? And I'd love for you to come along on the journey with me, and hopefully we'll get to hang out a little bit more in the new year. And so just remember, it's always appropriate to be good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. And so I hope you embrace your good enough this year. Take care.